It wasn't Star. It was the Viking ship. You're sure?
Wow, that was perfect timing. I literally just got done turning down the TV, the volume on the TV, turned back to the laptop, and yeah, it's like you are now live. I'm like, wow, perfect timing. I'm gonna wait a little bit just to see if anybody clicks on here. So also kind of preparing what I all exactly want to say. I was gonna put this off until tomorrow because I'm really tired and just kind of drained. But I figured with the shirt today, Roshi, Kamehameha School. I think it's Kamehameha, right? Yeah. There's a turtle one too, but I passed on that shirt. So, but yeah, so I figured this was a good day to do this because I'm wearing this shirt. And I'm also wearing the shirt for a reason, which I will get into. And just kind of to watching tonight's episode of Dragon Ball Super, which I'm going to try not to give any spoilers for anybody, but watching that on Toonami tonight just kind of stirred up some stuff. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do this video tonight anyways. And I really don't know how well this volume is. So, yeah, I'm going to check out something else here really quick, and then I'm going to get started on this. Okay, so I don't know if everybody's going to tune into this. I'm still figuring out these whole live videos. People go and watch them later on. So, I mean, that's kind of why I keep doing these, what I'm now calling Saiyana Speaks, because, you know, I'm Saiyana and I'm talking. And I couldn't think anything clever with my actual name, which is Kara, and it's with a K. So I couldn't think of, like, anything that worked. Like, even C words. I'm like, you know, chatting doesn't really work because that's CH. It's cha, that's not ka. And you know, I guess Kara's conversations, but I don't know. That just I don't know. What do you guys like better, Saiyana Speaks or Kara's conversations? Because I don't know. I just feel like the second one sounds kind of weird, and I would probably spell conversation with a K. And sometimes you got to watch how many K's you have. And dang it, my water is on the other side of the room, and I'm kind of thirsty. Anyways, kind of background change. You guys haven't noticed. Also, definitely not still the best lighting in the world. I did do a live video too the other day straight onto Twitter. That was on my phone, but my phone kind of isn't doing too great on battery right now. So, and this way too, I don't have to hold anything and my arms don't have to get tired. So that's kind of nice. But yeah, background change. I am house/dog sitting this today's Saturday. I actually started on Thursday. So basically the 2nd through the 12th. So I'm at their house enjoying their awesome Wi-Fi, and I'm actually really cold with the air conditioning running because it's straight across from me. But if I go into another room, it's like a different climate. So it's very interesting. It's an old house. So it's an old big house. Oh my gosh, I love it. So that's why it's window air conditioner. So yeah, my hands are like really, really cold. But yeah, like I said, I go into a different room and it's a lot warmer. So, but yeah, there's no overhead lighting in this room. There's actually the lamp that you can see behind me, and that is the lighting for this room. So I think this actually looks decently good. But so yeah, that's the explanation with that. And kind of a bit of a lead into the topic of the video I wanted to share was something that I've kind of been feeling for the last probably less than a week, but more than a couple of days. And also part of my reasoning of, because I actually was planning on, I mean, I packed the shirt to take with me. I know I just shoved a ton of clothes in a bag when I packed, but I intentionally brought this one with me. And actually, I almost wore this a couple days ago before I came over to house sit. And I'm actually really, or dog sit, he's over there. And I'm really glad that I did actually wait, because today, I don't want to say it was a perfect day, but like, I really don't know how to say this. I really don't, where it sounds good. Like, today was a fitting day to wear my Master Roshi Dragon Ball shirt. Also, because the factor it's black and it's Dragon Ball anime. Today's the 4th. I found out yesterday, I think kind of early afternoon, that a friend of mine had actually passed away the day before. And I still don't know what happened. This was a friend of mine within Balagarth, the foam fighting sport that I do, and I think I've talked about in some of these videos before. Or I can't really say I do. I don't fight a whole lot because I got hurt. I've been in the sport for almost 12 and a half years. It'll be 12 and a half years, yeah, next month. I came in right before I turned 20, so I always got to think about it a little bit. And it's August now, so yes, next month. But yeah, I got hurt a couple times early on, and my body had just hated me for most of my 20s. I either had injuries or illness, or I don't even know what to call the one thing, because it never actually did get diagnosed or figured out for sure what was going on. But yeah, my body's like, you ain't fighting. So I've been doing photography for though the entire time. But this was somebody I had met through the sport and gotten to know and everything. And he's just so I know him as Beowulf. We all have weird names in Belagarth because I mean the local group that I used to belong to had like 2 Jameses and 4 Johns. So yeah, you have to have people with different names because there's a lot of them. But so like I said, I know this guy is Beowulf. And he was just one of like the sweetest kind of souls you would ever know. Sorry, I got motorcycles driving by the background. I'm in town, so it might actually be louder than my apartment at times. There's more street noise, there's less annoying everything else. But yeah, so like I was just saying, Beowulf was one of like the sweetest kind of guys you would ever meet. I want to say he let me use his Verve account, his Verve. I never say this right. VRV, Verve. It was more like he insisted on it because I did the free trial month and then I forgot to cancel it after that free trial month. Actually, I couldn't because my internet was out for like a week. And I'm worse off financially than I was because I'm trying to move because they're raising the rent in my crappy apartment when my fridge and my freezer don't work right. I can't keep eggs. I can't keep milk. My butter has to stay in the freezer this time of year. And it's actually to the point where I can't keep anything on the top rack of the freezer because it'll unthaw. Like I threw out a good amount of food before I left to come here and had to completely de-ice my freezer before I came here. And I'll probably have to do it again when I get back too. But yeah, my fridge doesn't keep milk. I've had breakfast juice get moldy. Yeah, like apple juice get moldy. Yeah, it's bad. My toilet doesn't flush properly. It doesn't refill properly. My ceiling in my bathroom is literally starting to fall down. There's other stuff too. Maintenance does nothing about it. So I'm moving because I'm refusing to pay higher rent because it's just ridiculous. It's not worth the cost to pay there or the cost to live there anymore. And I have a friend who's in need of housing as well. So we're going in an apartment together because we could actually get a 2-bedroom. I've actually found 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 2 full bathrooms, laundry, garage for less than I'm currently paying for my shitty ass housing. So it's like, yes. Not gonna lie, I'm a little nervous. I haven't had a roommate in 10 years. And one reason why I moved so much in the beginning was crazy roommates. Like they'd lock you out of the bathroom, they'd steal your stuff. A couple of the guys had spied on me. So yeah, weird stuff. But plus I'm actually decently introverted and I like my space. So, but anyways, I'm getting really super off topic. But anyways, yeah, Beowulf basically insisted I use his Verve account because, I was hard up on money and stuff. And he's like, I offered this to you before. I had completely missed when he sent me that message. So I've been using his Verve account. I mean, that's just how nice and friendly he was. He's like, use my thing. Here's my password. Here's my stuff. And he actually apologized. He's like, don't just ignore my weird taste in anime. And it's like, some of the stuff, I was on there a couple days ago, so a couple days before his passing. So it's like I know the last anime stuff he possibly watched, which is weird when you think about it. But it's like, yeah, he watched Dragon Ball Super subtitled. He watched My Hero Academia, I think, was on there. There are a few animes on there that I never heard of before, so I can't judge. But no, he was one of the nicest, kindest souls you'll ever meet. Somebody that the world needs so many more of and not less of, and yet the world keeps taking these people out for some reason. Um, but yeah, so I decided I would wear this shirt today in honor of him because one, it's the one clean shirt I packed that's like anime based. Um, I mean, he let me use his Verve account so I could watch Dragon Ball, or continue to watch Dragon Ball Super. It was actually how I was going to watch it subbed titled so I could get all caught up before the movie comes out in January. And I don't know how I'm going to do that now because I really do not have an extra $10 to spare a month. And of course, Funimation is still behind. Plus, Funimation's not going to be caught up with their dubbed episodes by then. And can you watch subtitles on Funimation? I don't know. I watched it dubbed, but I don't know. Maybe I could. If somebody wants to go in on that, like 3 people wants to pay $15, that's cool. I'd do that. But anyways, again, I digress. But I thought with the black was fitting because pretty much I think anytime I saw Beowulf, he was wearing black of course for mourning. And like I said, the connection with the anime and just the factor too, the nice kind deed he did for me that I'll probably always remember him for, even though it's I mean it's kind of silly. It's like, hey, use my online TV account, but it's still pretty kind of just it's something I'm always going to remember him for. So it just all seemed like a good connection for today, and also one reason why I want to do this video because his passing has given me more of a reason to want to do this video. But the original, what I wanted to do was to talk about kind of one reason why getting back into writing has been so I can't say one of the reasons why getting back into writing has been so monumental for me, so meaningful and everything. Sadly, this is not the first time I've lost a friend, like death wise. When I was 16 and a half, junior year of high school, one of my best friends died in a car accident. So of course it was completely not, nobody knew this was going to happen. It wasn't foreshadowed. It wasn't like, when somebody's sick and they get worse and they're going to pass. I mean, she was there one day and the next day she was gone. And I still remember how I found out we had a speech meet at school that day because I was that nerdy of a kid that I was on the speech team for like 3 out of my 4 years of high school. And I don't think I did senior year anyways. And we had a speech meet actually at my school that day. And I did radio and versus doing poetry radios, like giving like a radio news report. But of course, of it being at our school too, we had to help out and stuff. I don't even remember if I actually performed that day or not. But again, with my school hosting, we had to help out. And actually, my verse teacher was going to drive me home because I was sort of on the way. I grew up off of a major highway, like a couple roads off of a major highway. So I was kind of conveniently on the way for a lot of people, but slightly out of the way at the same time. But she was going to take me home, her and her daughter. And trying to think, I thought her daughter was more than a year older than me, but it was junior year of high school. So, but I went into the IMC or library. I don't know what all schools call them these days, to meet up with her and the head speech coach, who was also, or the head coach of like the overall speech team. He was also our theater director because I also did that stuff. And he was our speech teacher as well. He was also in there, and he would say something about, they were talking about like, it was a good meet, everything went well. And then Mr. Welp's like, yeah, too bad it, it had to end in tragedy or something like that. And I was like, what tragedy? Just, like la 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 la. And they both, I still remember, like, they both stopped, kind of go deadpan in the face, especially Mr. Welp. And they looked at each other, and then they looked back at me, and Mr. Welp said, I think he said the last name, but it's like, he knew this was a classmate of mine. He was like, Jackie McPeak died in a car accident today. It was just like, I just stopped. I didn't even say what. I didn't even, it just, I have no idea what he's barking at. Hang on a second, I'll be right back. What are you barking at, dog? Oh, my name is dog. Sorry, this dog barks at stuff that isn't there, and I think it's weird because it's town and there's noises all the time, so I think he'd be used to it, but yet he barks at stuff a lot. But anyways, yeah, finding out that Jackie had passed, like I just remember I don't know if I had my book bag on. I know I was holding my history book and like, like this, and my history book was between my arms. And honestly, I think I just started crying. I like it hadn't even really sunk in it. It took like a couple seconds for me to start crying, but it was just, there was no what, there was no verbal reaction or anything. I just started crying, and I'm like holding on to this book for dear life. And Mr. Welp actually walked over, puts his arms around me and kind of holds me for a little bit, which granted, this was like 2002, 2001, 2002 going into 2003. It was December. So granted, teachers still weren't supposed to, I don't think, do that back to you. I don't really think even teachers giving hugs back then was really too allowed, especially like a male teacher hugging a female student. But I mean, yeah, he just told me one of my best friends had died, so I think in that it was okay. But I mean, that was huge. I mean, yeah, it was totally life changing, because I mean, not just only was she not there anymore, but like my own mortality sank in at 16 years old. My parents turned 60 this year, and I think my mom is still not fully understanding that. Like I think my mom's own mortality may have kicked in the last couple of years, but her sister also passed away 5 years ago, so I think that might have helped. But like, I mean, I went through it at 16. Most people don't do that, because at 16 you think you are immortal. You think you think that the world is yours, and you can't get hurt. Nothing seriously bad can ever happen to you. I mean, I even remember that running through my head. It's like, we're young, we're kids, we're not supposed to die. And you know she did. And one thing that was really, really big, besides, growing up with Jackie, and like our dads both played softball in the summer. So whenever my dad's team would play her dad's team, it was always fun to go to that game, because we'd hang out, we'd play together on the playground and whatever. I mean, we were kids. I actually, one of the last conversations that we had, like, I can't remember the last thing I said to her. I'm not even sure the last time I saw her. The last time I can remember for sure seeing her was, we were in the same chemistry class. She actually ended up being my chemistry partner a lot for labs. And it was funny, because even after she passed, I could never get the beaker lit right. And whenever she would do it, because she loved doing it, the gas would always be turned up so high that we'd have a flame darter shoot up to the ceiling. And half the time the teacher never noticed. There was like 8 kids in that class, and half the time the teacher never noticed. Again, I went to a really small school. Maybe there was 9 of us, I don't know. But I remember, like, we got out of chemistry class, and I went one way in the hallway and she went the other way in the hallway. And I actually remember like watching her walk away. Like, that's my last for sure memory of seeing her, which is in a way kind of weird that it's her walking away. I can't even remember what day of school that was. I can't remember if that was like the day before she died, if that was a couple days before she died. That's just the last clear time I remember for sure seeing her. And one of the last conversations we happened to have was actually the next time she would be seeing my mom. My mom would probably have glasses, because my mom was getting glasses for like the first time since she was a kid. And Jackie never saw my mom with glasses. And another thing too we were talking about was Jackie didn't know how to build a snowman. She was at this time 16 years old. A year before, of course, would have been 15, and did not know how to build a snowman. So when I found that out the prior year, I told her I would teach her how to make a snowman. So we had it planned when we had a good snow. Again, I grew up in I live in northern Illinois. I grew up in northwestern Illinois. I live like an hour away from home right now. So we have snow sometimes. Back then we had snow more than we do now. So yeah, we had it planned, and one day it snowed, and one day after school, when the snow was still on the ground, I went over to her house, and the idea was I was going to teach her how to make a snowman. Well, the snow was not packable, so we ended up making we called him a Kirby snowman. We had like a bump in the ground, like the half circle, so it was kind of like Kirby sort of trying to come out of the ground. And she jumped over Kirby, and we drew, the face and the mouth on him. And she jumped over him, and so he'd have feet. So her footprints were her feet. And that was the farthest we got to do because the snow wasn't packable. And it was funny too because we ended up she had matching sweaters of two different colors, blue and green, even though she hated blue. And we wore those to the basketball game that night. I actually can't remember which one she actually. I know back then I liked blue, so I might have worn blue and she wore green. Otherwise, she may have actually worn the opposite color because I wanted to wear the other one. I can't remember for sure, unfortunately. We ate cold chicken right out of the refrigerator, like cold leftover chicken. We tried to make cinnamon rolls. This might have been a couple different times, but I think some of this was that night. We tried to make cinnamon rolls one time too when we were hanging out, and for some reason we cooked like half of the dough, and we ate half of it raw, which I've definitely never ever done again. And then the cinnamon rolls we ended up making got like totally burnt and were really hard. It's like the weird little things you remember after somebody really close to you is gone. Like these are like these weird moments that have stuck out to me, almost 16 years later and are still so fresh in my mind. But that year, 2001, that we tried making the snowman and stuff and it didn't work out, we decided the following year, and this was one of the last conversations I had with Jackie, was that when we got the next, good snow, she would come over to my house because we went to her house the year before, and I would show her how to build a snowman. And, I promised her that. I promised her that like the year before. I promised her that, again in 2002, right before she died. And it's a promise that I never got to keep. And I will admit, there's still some times at the first snow of the year, I've cried. I've shed at least a tear before, not, actually break down crying. And then of course, now with losing my friend now, it's kind of different because like, I don't mean to be mean, but I didn't know him as well as I knew Jackie. I mean, this is somebody that, we live like a good at least hour more apart from each other. We'd see each other a few times a year, talk online here and there, but still, like I said, he's still one of the nicest, kindest, gentlest people you'd ever meet. And that's basically what everybody's saying about him. And it's so true. I mean, he left behind such a legacy. And I think it's like so fitting that his daughter is actually named after him. She has the female version of his name. Because it turns out actually he was a junior. He had the same name as his dad. So I definitely really, really hope his daughter, even though she's, very small, she's a toddler. I so hope that even though she's not going to grow up knowing her dad, she's only going to know her dad through other people and what they tell her about him. She's probably not going to really remember him at all. I really hope she does, but I understand with the age thing. But I really hope she lives up to the namesake that she has, because she's going to be an awesome person if she does. And I so wish she would be around to see her grow up. Okay, we're gonna go back to kind of original topic, or I'm gonna like get really broken down here. But going back to with Jackie and everything, I mean, she just didn't mean a lot to me because she was somebody that I grew up with and was very close with and all of that. One thing that really, really, really meant a lot to me was, again, as I've said before, I started writing back when I was like not even old enough to make words. I did flip books as a little kid, stuff like that. I started doing it regularly right before I turned 10 years old, like literally a few weeks before my birthday. And I also wrote poetry too for a little while, or kind of poetry. I mean, nothing was really that great, but Jackie loved it. We would stay up late online talking, and she would just listen to me go on and on about stuff with my characters and my stories. There was a website, I don't know if it's still around or not, poetry.com. Heads up if it is still around, at least, a good 16 years ago, it was like a scam website. But she followed me on there, however the following thing worked. And I ended up finding this out after she passed. I think anyways, after she passed. Well, yeah, I hadn't been over there for quite a long time before she passed, so it might have even been that year. Or the time before when we tried the snowman thing. But because I remember her parents actually told me that she took every single poem I wrote and posted it on that website, or if I just emailed them or something. Because like I said, she liked my stuff, so I let her know what I wrote and everything. She took them all, wrote them out by hand in the same format that I wrote them in, and taped them to her wall. She had all of them. And again, she'll be gone for 16 years in December, and that fact still means so much to me, because like my dad's never gotten me. He's never understood anime. He's never understood my love for animation. He's never understood, wanting to be a writer. He's never understood any of that stuff. He always just thought it was something silly I was doing that was wasting my time. I mean, I didn't go out on weekends. I stayed home and I watched anime. I played computer games and I worked on my stories. I was either drawing my characters or writing out stuff or, planning out things. And I mean, it wasn't 100% by choice, but like I did that stuff on the weekends because like my friends at school didn't want to hang out with me. Like I didn't really get a social life until well, kind of towards the end of high school. I got into a church group and I hung out with those guys usually a couple times a week, not always on the weekends though. But yeah, pretty much I was the kid with a car, and then when other friends in our group from my school started getting their licenses and their own cars, I was dropped. So yeah, I didn't really get a social life really until like early college. And then I moved away and my social life died again because I lived where I knew no one. But yeah, Jackie was a huge supporter of my writing and my work and everything. And when I stopped writing, I felt really bad because I felt like I was letting her down. Even when I gave up on, the whole English dream, because I went to school for English my first time, I have a degree in English. When I like let that go and tried pursuing another career field, which still has also not gone anywhere, I felt bad. I felt like I was letting her down because like it was another thing that I didn't really ever promise her that I was going to do something with my writing, that I was going to make something out of it, but I still kind of felt like I was letting her down. And it was one part, and it was one reason why I was so sad that after like all the crap from my mid to late-ish 20s happened, my mid-20s was a really crappy time. Like the early part, like 23 through like 27, 28 was not a great time. Well, it wasn't. I don't know. That's a thing for another time. But when all the stuff happened that basically had me stop writing for about 10 years, and when I would try to get back into writing in these last couple of years before I did a couple months ago, that was one thing I hated, because it's like not only did it just feel like a part of me that I liked from my past was gone, but it was a big connection I had with Jackie, with my friend that was passed as well. And like I said, just kind of feel like I was letting her down. So that's one reason why getting back into writing has meant so much to me, because not only does it just feel like part of me is back, but my first anime based series, which Jackie was around for, I created it about 13 months or so before she died. So she got to hear a lot about these guys and everything. Yeah, I was trying to think, was I going anywhere else with that? But yeah, that was that point that, she was around for at least a couple of my anime based series and stuff like that, the creation of them and all of that. So the fact that the other day I actually started like feeling something like the spark to work on my original stuff was like starting to come back. Like it, like just something inside of me was kind of burning that was like wanting to go back to and work on that stuff. Which, granted, I've been hoping that would come back, but I mean, just writing in general is making me happy. So I was really glad for that. And so yeah, getting back into writing just was great. But it's all been, the Dragon Ball stuff, like the pictures I've been posting on my Twitter or the Command Con group page or my Facebook page. I kind of ask for people's opinions on stuff in the Command Con group page. Twitter, nobody really seems to care about that stuff a lot, but oh well. Actually, I have the pictures. They're just not. Hold on. They're not by me, so I have to go and get them. From my Meet Saiyana video, we have the picture of Saiyana that I did, and then last night I actually did. I think it's from a Dragon Ball Z movie, but I took Bulma and Trunks and flipped them into really bad coloring job here, but it's a very rough draft of Saiyana and her brother, who I may eventually release the name. I'm afraid of how much detail I want to give away with anything I write online because I'm like so afraid people are going to steal my ideas. Because of several of my anime-based series that I created, since I've created them, like shows very similar have come out. I mean, granted, some of my stuff is kind of similar to stuff that already existed, but I changed some things. But then some shows came out that were also like my stuff. So, I mean, original stuff is not always the easiest to do. And actually, on that note, too, I feel sometimes like I'm really fearing that some of YouTube friends of mine might be like thinking I'm copying and whatnot. It's like truly like I might think of the same topic or I might get inspired to talk about something that I saw in a video that somebody else did. Dog, stop doing that. I'll have to cut this short briefly because I think has to go out. But like I just said, it's inspired me. Like maybe I'm doing my own video because I have a different viewpoint. I have different thoughts on that topic, and that's why I'm doing it. So, and honestly, too, one reason I keep doing the Saiyana Says is this is what's been getting the most views on my channel. So apparently, you guys, for some reason, like to see the space talking, because yeah. But so yeah, that's been one reason why getting back into writing has been so big for me, because not only does it feel like a part of me from my past that I thought was over and done and gone with and that like could not came back, but the factor, whatever, I say factor a lot, but that happened a few days ago, earlier this week, whenever it was, the just like that whole like I think I'm going to start working on my stuff again, like I kind of want to start working on this again. That was just great because now it's like it's a connection with my friend that I've been missing. I mean, there's some stuff you never get over. I mean, a loss of a parent you never get over, a loss of basically anybody close to you never get over. And I think just again the factor of how young we were with Jackie. I mean, we were 16, we were juniors in high school. It made my own mortality kick in. It was just such a life altering thing that happened. Event. There we go. I actually had one story series called Mike and Rose, and it ended up being actually I created this in 7th grade. It was my first not like crazy weird family, not like my first like more older work, like older in terms of like more mature. It was a group of friends basically going through life and growing up, and it was everything else I'd done before that was like a dog and a cat solving mysteries on a farm, stuff about a mermaid, a wacky family having wacky adventures, that kind of thing. So this was kind of my big step away from that, my first kind of more adult, more mature, series. I mean, granted, they were like good kids. They didn't get into trouble or anything like that. I did actually go back and started revamping the series when, again, early college before, things went to crap and writing stopped. I was revamping it, and it's like, I'm putting these characters kind of through hell because they were going through life stuff that I had gone through and we had gone through. And actually, one thing I was going to do, again, because the characters were based on me and my friends. I actually had like 3 characters that were based on me because I have different aspects of myself. And you had to have a cool kid character and this and that. So, but one of the characters was based on Jackie, and I kept debating like, what do I do with her? And I had some people say, oh, just have her, just continue her on in the show until they graduate from high school, and then like have her go away to college and never be heard from again. I'm like, I could do that, but that's still a year and a half of Jackie's life I have to make up, and I couldn't do that. And it's like, you know what? Her death was such just a huge event that just, I mean, it affected her family, her friends, our class, our entire high school, entire school, our entire community. I mean, it affected so many people. It's like there's no way I can, and it was such a huge effect. Like there's no way I can not write about that. There's no way I can just throw that out. And I totally missed Pop Team Epic. Oh well. Um, I'm recording a bunch of this stuff too, so I can go back and watch it later. But yeah, so that's just one reason why the whole writing thing has been so cool, because I can go back and connect with her again. And if I am actually able to get my stuff out there and on TV, or even just working in some series some way, I not only just awesome because the dream I've had, but I just think it'll be so cool because I know wherever Jackie is, she will be smiling upon me with that big old smile of hers, and just be like, I told you could do it. I knew you could do it. It took a while, but you did it. And I know she would be so proud of me. So it's kind of more of a push to keep that going, because, the last couple of weeks have been really rough for me. And I've actually been kind of debating giving up on the whole trying to work for Funimation, trying to, do a writing career of some sort. And yeah, it's just like I said, it's just been kind of fizzling, and I'm trying to hold on to it. And then realizing that the other day with the whole Jackie connection thing, I'm like, you know what, maybe I should push for this. And then with Beowulf's passing too, it's kind of just that whole realization of, how short life can be. I mean, he was younger than me. He was still in his 20s. He was going to be 28 in October. And I mean, yeah, he was married. He had a kid. So he is leaving behind more. I mean, if I kick the bucket, I'll have some incredibly heartbroken little girls who I am lucky enough to have be my nieces. But I don't have kids. I'm not married. Like my family would be sad. My friends would be sad, but there's like nobody to carry on a legacy kind of thing. Nothing like that. Um, um, it's kind of sad. Like my stories are actually my legacy, but nobody knows them. Like the stuff I write. Um, but so yeah, that would be part of my legacy, having my dream come true with that. I kind of don't know where this point was going, so I'm just gonna go off topic, I guess. But it just kind of the reminder though with Beowulf's death is just kind of the how fragile life can be, importance of friendship, importance of friends, importance of family, importance of being a good person. Because like I said, just everybody. I mean, a lot of times when somebody dies, people say good things about them, but it's like nobody can think of anything not good. Like everybody's saying the kind of the same thing, but it's true stuff of how kind he was, how caring he was, how generous he was, how much, impact he had on people's lives, even though a lot of it wasn't really that big. It was just a kind word, a nice gesture. But that's the legacy he left behind. And people are talking about it, and it's really it's great, I think. And so yeah, there's just that, and I mean, again too, because I think it's really weird that at 32 I lost a friend, and at 16 I lost a friend, and I'm like, this is gonna happen every 16 years. I had somebody be like, no, it'll happen when you're, won't happen when you're 46, it'll happen when you're 64. And I'm like, well, I'm not doubling the age, because like, I mean, I did have a relative pass away when I was 8. It wasn't anybody I was that close with though, so you could argue that, but I'm just gonna see how well 48 goes first. But anyways, then I'll worry about 64. But I mean, it is really true. I mean, I've had several close calls in my life. I mean, actually not I guess it would have been a decent amount. Not quite a year and a half after Jackie died, I almost got into a car accident. And again, I grew up in the country, a really rural area, and it was actually ironic enough. We had a high school graduation practice that day, and that was like all we had to come to school for was that. So my best friend at the time needed a ride home, so I drove her home, and I was like, we didn't really live horrendously far apart, like within maybe 5 miles of each other, driving wise. And like I was pretty far into the drive, and I realized I forgot I wanted to borrow some pictures from her and then scan them to make my scrapbook. And I was going to scan them at my Bible study that night because the guy had a scanner, the guy who hosted it. So I turned around, went back, got the pictures, left again, came home, and I take a gravel road home because I grew up on a gravel road. But a good chunk of the drive from her house to my dad's house where I grew up, because my parents were still together when I was in high school, was gravel road, and they were re-graveling it, putting down new stuff. So there was lots of loose gravel. It's like, how many times can I say gravel in a sentence? And I've only been driving for, at this time, I would have been just turned 18. So I was driving for not even licensed, not even 2 full years, with a permit a little over 2 years. Because I didn't really know how to drive on this stuff. It's actually one reason why still to this day I drive like a sane person on gravel. Like my dad will easily do like 45 to 60 on gravel. Yeah, 45 is about my peak on gravel. I grew up on gravel. I literally learned how to drive in a rock quarry. I'm not lying. An old rock quarry that they used to get both gravel and rocks and stuff out of. I learned how to drive a car in one of those. Not that hillbilly, I promise. That's about the most hillbilly thing I've ever done in my life. But yeah, my like max speed on gravel is 45, because that day driving home from graduation practice after dropping off my friend, I hit some loose gravel. I started fishtailing. I overcorrected to miss going into one ditch, which actually would have been the better one to go into. And instead, my car stopped within like feet of going into a ravine where it probably would have flipped at an angle, like right at the driver's side, like totally taking out like where I would be sitting. And I just had my car in not too long before that to get some repairs done. And I thought they had fixed the brakes. Actually, and I got home because we had to like get my car pulled out of the ditch. I mean, like it was in there really good. Like there was no backing this out. So we had to do that and then have me get home. And of course, I'm the only one home. My dad happened to be, I grew up within like an hour of Iowa and Wisconsin border. So my dad's actually in Iowa that day. My mom's at work. I don't remember where the crap my sister was. She's older. She wasn't home. She might have been at work or something too. I don't know. But some neighbors came along and helped me get my car out of the ditch and everything. And it's like I get home and I checked the mail, and there was the bill from the mechanic. They hadn't fixed my brakes yet. I, to this day, I mean, I am somewhat religious. Like, I don't go to church and that type of stuff, but I do believe that there's a higher being out there. So it's definitely by the grace of God. And I kind of think, too, that Jackie was making sure I made it to graduation. Because for how my brakes not being fixed, I should have not stopped when I did. And if I, again, would have not stopped when I did, if I would have been alive, I probably would have not been making it to graduation at the end of the week. So I probably would have still been in the hospital. I mean, how the car would have gone into the ravine, I would have been pretty lucky to walk out of it, let alone live. So to this day, I strongly believe that kid was making sure, that Jackie was making sure that nobody else in her class was missing graduation. And I've had other close calls since then too. So, for some reason, I'm still on this earth and I'm supposed to do something. I just got to figure out what it is. And hopefully it is writing, because I've always felt for most of my life that's what it is. But anyways, just kind of going back with that, and just the loss of my friend Jackie, the loss of my friend Beowulf now recently. Just like I said, definitely just go out there. And I mean, you don't have to do fantastic, amazing stuff with your life. I mean, if you want to become a baker, become a baker. I feel like I'm doing a little Kiki's delivery service here now. If you want to be a baker, be a baker. If you want to be an artist, be an artist. If you want to be witch and fly, figure out how to do that, and let me know. The flying part, I'll pass on being a witch, but I'd love to learn how to fly. But I mean, yeah, do what you love. Hopefully, it makes some money. And I mean, if you got to have a job doing something you hate in order to do something that you love, hopefully it's worth it for a while until you're able to do something that you love and like make money from it. But yeah, just, be sure when this is something that I need to work on myself, let people know what they mean to you. I mean, I'm not saying maybe go around and tell everybody in the world, I love you, but because that can be a little creepy. But I mean, give your parents a hug. My mom actually likes it if I'm at her place because we do stuff together a good amount. I'm like the kid I'm not married. I don't have kids. I'm the kid who still hangs out with my mom from time to time, which definitely, guys, whether you're a teenager in your 20s, in your 30s, definitely if you're in your 50s, whatever age, you're never too old to hang out with your parents, and never ever take that for granted. I mean, I've had several times I came close to losing my mom, even back when I was a kid. Cars kind of suck. And I can't even finish this. I can't imagine life without her. I mean, I've seen my cousins go through losing their mom, and my mom is weird and goofy, and she's not the brightest person in the world, and I hate how much she believes she's dependent on other people, and she doesn't try new things. She doesn't try to be independent. But she's my mom, and I love her. I mean, she's my mom, and I had my best friend growing up. Her mom was kind of like a second mom to me, and if I would ever get married, I definitely hope I would have a very close relationship with my mother-in-law, or even when I'm back at my apartment, I actually I call them my Rockford family, and she's like my Rockford mom. She's like my local mom person. I mean, she's my emergency contact for things. She's helped give me rides. She's fed me many, many times over the years. She's even fed me since I have no longer been friends with her kid. So she's pretty much like a mom. And but she's still not my mom. She's not the woman who raised me. She's not the one who gave birth to me. So my mom is a little bit more important than her. I mean, like I said, she's like a mother. My friend's like a mother figure to me, but she's not my mom. And God, if anything would happen to her too, I would be devastated. But yeah, just don't take people for granted. Don't take yourself for granted. Don't take your life for granted. I mean, even if you're in a craptastic place right now, I mean, I'm actually in a really nice place right now physically, but I mean, financially, I have a good credit score somehow. I have a lot of student debt that actually it's a lot bigger because of interest, because I can't pay any of it off. So the interest is like killing me, which reminds me, I got to mail something off for that this week. I don't really have insurance enough that actually allows me to go to a doctor. I haven't been to the dentist in 10 years because I can't afford it. I have wisdom teeth turning 10 in November because I haven't been able to afford to get them out. I've gone through teething with both of my nieces. There's a reason you're not supposed to remember your teeth coming in, because it hurts. But I mean, I was saying before, my mom, we hang out a lot, and a lot of times when we do stuff back home, like tomorrow, my cousin's youngest daughter, she only has one kid. My older cousin's daughter turns 1. They actually adopted her, but she was born a year ago tomorrow, and I think they pretty much got her from birth or like the next day. So they've had her for almost her year too. So we're having a birthday party tomorrow since it is a Sunday and everything. And especially since I'm house sitting, I'm driving to my mom's house, and then we're riding into the party together. So with that type of stuff, a lot of times when I'm leaving my mom's house and driving back, especially because a lot of times it's at night and stuff, she wants me still at 32 years old, she wants me to text her when I get home. And there's been times that I've forgotten about it. And she's like, I stayed up so late because I was so worried that something happened to you. So it's like, I have a friend who's a few years older than me, and he was saying stuff about, because I've talked with his mom a few times on posts and stuff on Facebook. And he's just like, oh, you see those gray hairs, they're all about me and blah, 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 or they're all because of me and da, da, da. And I can't remember what it all was, but my reply was, it's like she's your mom. Moms are always going to worry about their kids for as long as they're alive, and probably even beyond that. And I remember she liked that comment and she said it's true. And I do believe it's true. I mean, I don't have kids myself, but I see my nieces as kind of like my kids, and I worry about them. I care about them. I mean, that's one thing that kind of worries me about, hopefully getting a job at Funimation one day, or even just moving to Texas in general, because I still, whatever reason, feel like Texas is calling me for some reason to go there and to live there. But they're still that's one thing that worries me about leaving them. But it's like, you know what, there's all these things online and cell phones and all this stuff. We could talk more than we talk now. But we always need our parents, especially our moms. Sorry to the dads out there, but I think most kids have more of a connection with their mom. There's just don't take your life for granted. Don't take the people in your life for granted. Pets, anything, because you just never know. I mean, I still don't know what happened to my friend Beowulf yet. I don't know if it was a car accident. To my knowledge, I don't think he was sick. I mean, anytime we talked, he never said anything about it. I actually was gonna Google stuff when I got home to see if I could try to find something. But just yeah, guys, just don't take life for granted. Don't take anything for granted. And again, too, if you're in a really crappy spot in your life, there's still going to be some good. I mean, like I started saying, financially, I have a good amount of student debt that I have no idea if I'm ever going to be able to pay off, because I am having this hardest time trying to find a second part-time job or a full-time job. I mean, I've gone to college twice, and I have people reminding me about this all the time. I actually got totally berated by a friend not too long ago for not having my shit together by my age. And it's like, I'm trying though. Like, she totally made it sound like I wasn't trying, and that really ticked me off. Because, like, I'm trying. I've been applying for jobs. I mean, I did take a good break in June and a good chunk of July, like, besides applying for Funimation. But that was the first time I took a break in a year and a half. I mean, I have dropped 20 applications in a week. I've dropped 20 applications in a day. It's crazy ridiculous. It's just, the job market is ridiculously hard. Everybody's looking for stuff. Everybody's suffering. And the world's kind of a shitty place nowadays. That's just how it is. But, like I said, I'm moving because I can't afford rent on my own. I need to buy a car now because I literally have no car right now. Like, if my grandparents decide to take back the vehicle that I should say my grandpa is letting me borrow for a few weeks so I could still house it, because I made this commitment months ago and I need the money. But yeah, if they decide to take back the car, I will have nothing again to drive around. I will have no idea how to get anywhere. I have no way to buy a car right now because all my savings went into the car that my grandparents took back, which ironically I'm driving again right now. But it's just like, when I think about it, I should be going into a panic attack and stuff, because, like, I'm not in a great place with my life right now. But I have awesome friends. I have a pretty good family. There's still some stuff going on with some people and whatnot, but I mean, whose family's perfect, I have those two little amazing girls that I am lucky enough to call my nieces, who love and adore me and really look up to me surprisingly a lot. Yeah, those guys are awesome. I have my pets. I have my cat who loves me. I have my other cat who loves me. I still have great stuff going on in life. I mean, I hit 28 followers on Twitter. I just gained a couple more yesterday or earlier today. The YouTube stuff is kind of starting to take off a little bit more. There's still good stuff going on. I mean, like I said, the writing part of me is back. I'm creating characters again for the first time in, like, possibly pre-20s, like possibly since my teens. So there's still a lot of really good stuff going on. There's just, the housing issue, the car issue, the job issue, the financial issues. So yeah, I kind of surprised myself that I'm carrying on and being happy. I mean, I've changed a ton in the last since moving to Rockford, I guess I could say, because I actually wasn't living in Rockford for tremendously long, and I actually did try to kill myself. I got just a really bad place, and it wasn't the first time in my life I was in that bad place. And like I look back on it now and I'm like, oh my gosh, the first time I don't want to say a dumb teenager, but I was a teenager, so we're not always the brightest back then. I strongly stand by the statement that one of my friends who's 5 years older than me says that you're young and you're dumb until you're at least 25, which ironically enough is when the part of your brain that does reasoning and stuff is mostly done developed. Like you understand like cause and effect a lot more. Like when you're a teenager, like my friend died because she was driving a car too fast and went over a hill. The car flipped end over end and she broke her neck and she died. Well, that's what we all assumed anyways, was that her neck broke because she died instantly in the accident and how stuff was propped up and whatnot. But 10 years later, well, you don't realize as a college age teenager years, you don't realize, that like consequences of actions, you never think that stuff can happen to you. And then like mid 20s and on is when you realize this stuff can happen to you. I totally forgot what I was talking about again. I'm really tired. Sorry. And again, this wasn't tremendously planned out because I had decided to wait and do it till tomorrow, but then I changed my mind, decided I wanted to do this tonight. So, but yeah, the whole consequence thing, not realized till you're 25, that was something, or your mid 20s. So just, yeah, don't be young and dumb. Think stuff through. Oh, being in bad places. That's what I was talking about. Yeah. The first time I was like super, super depressed and suicidal, that I was in my early teens. Actually, it was not too long before I got into anime and started writing anime stories and all of that. So, and honestly, too, this time around, too, I mean, when my grandparents took back their car that I was buying from them and I had invested almost $800 into a car that I was buying for $500. $500 of that almost 800 was repairs. It was like the last people in the world I trusted had completely betrayed me. It was like they stabbed me in the back and it went through to my heart. I mean, it was not good. And not just that, but like my grandparents, every once in a while, they would just, if they hadn't heard from me in a while, they just call and see how I was doing. They didn't do that. If I'd see my grandma somewhere, she would barely say 2 words to me. They claimed, because my mom finally around my birthday, like 4 months later, finally kind of confronts her parents about this a little bit. She says that they weren't ignoring me, they didn't forget about me because I never got a birthday card from them. It wasn't any of that, but I found out later on she talked to her dad about it. She didn't talk to my grandma about it. So I don't know. I felt like the last several times things have been better, but there was still plenty of times of being around them that, like, the first time I saw them after my birthday, which was the first time I'd actually seen them since I think like Christmas, so it was like 4 months. My grandpa's face lit up. He puts his hand on my shoulder, says he was good to see me and happy birthday. My grandma just like, is that your purse over there? Like that was it. There was no greeting. There was no real hi. They left without saying bye. It really felt like I was being shunned and pushed out of my family by like the people that I thought were the greatest people in the world. And stuff is still on the mend. I will admit, stuff's been better, but stuff is still on the mend. Hopefully I can get the relationship I used to have with my grandparents back, but they really, really hurt some trust. And I felt really bad too, being mad because it's like, something could happen to them at any time. And I totally forgot where I was going with this. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. This is not a very good focused video tonight. I really totally forgot where I was going with that part there. Oh, that, yeah. I mean, like, old me a few years ago, old me like 5-7 years ago, I probably would have gone back to, going through all that crap, me a few years ago, I probably would have been in a horribly bad place, horribly depressed, possibly suicidal again. And I'll admit, I was not in a good place for a while after my grandparents took the car and everything. I felt like such a failure because it's like I'm trying so hard to get a job. I'm having all these interviews. I'm not getting anything. It's ridiculous, putting out all these applications. I was so down in the dumps because it just seemed like bad thing after bad thing kept happening. I just couldn't luck out with anything. And then I had a friend of a friend posted some or made a comment on Facebook to something, and it was posting, I think it was actually the video from Dragon Ball Z Abridged of Trunks' conception. And that happened to have, I remember anyways, it led to that. I think it was actually that clip though. And there was like a clip for Super on the side, like the suggested watch things on YouTube. And I clicked on it and I watched it and I watched more clips and I watched more clips. And it's like, I really want to watch this now. And a friend let me use his Funimation account. And so I watched Super as far as Super was running. I went back and watched the part of Dragon Ball Z that I had never seen. I like in its entirety from start to end. I hadn't seen the Android or the Cell Saga, so I watched all of that. I watched through to the end of Boo or the end of the series again. Tried watching DT a little bit. Rewatched Super. Friend took away Funimation account, and then I said did the Verve thing. But yeah, just anime came back into my life again. I started watching Tenchi Muyo because I love the Tenchi series too. A couple other shows. Actually, Yu Hakusho was free on Amazon. I was watching that. So yeah, before the Funimation stuff started, I should say. So yeah, just like anime came back into my life, and life got better again. So yeah. So to wrap things up with this, just guys, one reason why the writing spark coming back and even the possibility of working on my own stuff and kind of to refire the drive of making something of myself of a writer again, going for basically following the dream, even if it's, like I said, cleaning toilets at Funimation. Kind of really takes back roots in a really good friend who was my biggest fan and supporter and really has been my biggest fan and supporter. I mean, even since she's not around anymore, but nobody still has surpassed her yet. I've had strangers that'll have more confidence in me that I could become a writer than my family, so who knows. If anybody wants to read any of my stuff too, hit me up. I might let you see it. If I've talked to you enough and know I can trust you. Or if I will come down and stalk you down and do horrible things to you if you steal my stuff, I might let you read it. I'm dating stuff. I have occasional copies, so yeah. But yeah, a lot of that stuff ties back to my good friend Jackie, who died almost 16 years ago, back when we were 16. And now with losing my friend Beowulf here, also at a very young age. I mean, again, he wasn't even in his 30s. Just really puts in the importance of, life and friendship and having, letting those people that you care about know that you care about them and being there and support and all that stuff. And, just being you, be a good person, go out there, do good things. Hopefully that's who you are. you know, the power of having, because that's kind of one thing too, like kind of more of Jackie has come into me a little bit over the years. Just think about what legacy you're leaving behind, what you're doing, what you want to do with your life. Go for it. Go for your dreams. Follow your passions, no matter how. Look again. My hobbies are doing this stuff, writing about random characters that I make up on, doing weird things, taking pictures of people hitting each other with foam sticks. I make candy. Who does these things? It's weird. It's uncommon stuff. I have a whole line of Dragon Ball themed candy and crafts coming out. Who does this stuff? I make videos. Well, there's a lot of YouTubers out there, but yeah. Just do you, be you. Let those people who you care about know what they mean to you. Don't take stuff for granted, guys. Live your life. Leave a legacy that'll make those who have already left us proud. Just all that good stuff. And again, I don't know what happened with Beowulf, but just there's been a lot of stuff going around on Twitter and stuff too with dealing with Chester from Lincoln Park and his passing since we had the 1 year marker a few weeks ago. And a lot of people have been like bashing him too and stuff. And it's like, guys, if you've ever been there, if you've ever been to the point of being suicidal, you know what it's like. You know how much it sucks. Hopefully, you'd be understanding to somebody who also tried or unfortunately did succeed. Um, if you haven't ever been there, awesome for one thing. But you know, if you haven't ever been there, you don't know what it's like to be that low. And I don't feel like you have any right to judge anybody who ever has been that low. Because there's just sometimes you just feel like you have, I mean, you could have everything in the world, but you can still feel like you don't. I mean, I know I have lots of friends who care about me, and there's still times that I forget that. There's still times, actually, I've had a few times recently where I have felt so alone. And like I said, some of the stuff for the last couple of weeks that have been getting me by is like having people liking my videos on Facebook, gain some more subscribers, gaining more followers on Twitter. And it's like, it's so amazing to me because again, you guys like seeing his face talking. You guys like my weird posts on Twitter. And it's just, it amazes me because like, I don't think I'm that great of a person. I mean, I'm one of those people that like, I don't like job interviews because you're supposed to build yourself up. And I don't like doing that because I don't like to brag. Like if I do something that I'm proud of, I want to share it with you because, you know, like I worked pretty hard on this drawing. Like my original characters that I did, you know, back in the day look nothing like this. They look really bad. Like I'm not that great at a drawer. I don't know. I'm not that great at drawing, so when I do something I'm proud of, I would like to share it. You know, I'm not being boastful or bragging about it. I mean, I get excited over really weird stuff. I nerd out a lot. um, like my dad, he hasn't really done it a whole lot in the last I don't know how many years. But even when I'd be a teenager or like my early mid 20s, I would get, you need to grow up, and it's like how am I acting not my age? And I mean, yeah, like now I'm 32. I love animation. I love cartoons. I still love animation and cartoons, I guess you could say. I have a lot of stuffed animals. I still buy stuffed animals. Like, I've been in this weird part pretty much my entire life because I've always gotten along with people older than me. I would go to stuff, and instead of playing with kids, I'd be sitting talking with the adults. I'm an old soul with a young heart, I guess you could say, because like I said, I like animation. I like coloring with crayons. I don't really do that very often, but I will sit down with little kids and color with crayons with them. I like cartoons. I like animation. I like playing Sims. That's pretty much the main video game I play. I do also like Halo and Kirby and some Mario games. Same time I have a friend who's a couple years older than me. She's obsessed with unicorns. I like dragons. Um, I wear decorative socks. I would show you mine, but I took them off when I got home. But I do not own a pair of plain white socks. I'm not even sure if I own a pair of socks that are one solid color. Yeah. I actually like to have kind of colorful shoes too, which is really weird because I don't have very many shoes. But give me a pair of colored sneakers. Like I've had red, I've had purple, I've had a really beautiful shade of green that I'd love to find again. I've had camel print. Um, my shoes now are like a kind of robin egg greenish aqua color. Um, so yeah, but yet I wear graphic t-shirts all the time. So yeah, I'm like an old soul with like young heart, I guess. And my dad has told me a lot that I need to grow up, and it's like, no. I get too. I get that I'm mature for my age, and yet I get 5 years. I get that I act 5 years older, but I look 5 years younger. I've been getting that since I turned 21. Um, but yeah, just to like off track again. There is green on the bottom of my foot. I've got the dog outside again. But yeah, guys, just do you, be you, follow your dreams, go with your things that make you things that you're passionate about. Do those things, love those things, be interested in those things. I mean, there are people who make living out of YouTube videos. There's some person who decided to write I know there's a meme about this, but I'm going to steal it. There's somebody out there who thought making a movie with sharks that come out of tornadoes would be cool. And look what happened. They're like, what now, 5 of them? I still haven't seen any of those. I so need to see a Sharknado movie because there's people like me who think that stuff is interesting. You know, there's there was some guy who decided to, make this round wheel thing one day. There was, you know, all sorts of crazy, wacky inventions out there that, I mean, there was some guy who decided to make this thing called Facebook, and look what happened with that. So yeah, I mean, no matter how crazy and out there your dreams might be, who says they can't come true? Never gonna know if you don't try. If you don't make it, well, hey, you tried. Maybe you'll try again. I mean, look at this is my second time trying with the writing thing. But yeah, just be you, love your friends. Don't ever take anybody for granted. Pets, family, friends. Hopefully you get along with your family. Even if you don't, still love them. Unless they've done really, really bad shit to you, there is a line. But yeah, just let those people who you care about and are important to you, let them know that. Don't take anybody for granted. Don't take especially those people for granted. Those people are the really, really important people. Um, and just yeah, I hope everybody's doing well. And I really do want to thank everybody too. I might post this to my Twitter because I don't know, it's gotten really long, it's really rambling, just kind of thoughts that I've had in my head that I've kind of wanted to get out of my head and not scripted very well at all because I did not plan this. You two people, do you do scripts for your stuff? Because I just get a general idea and wing it, and today's was not a very planned out general idea. It's like, I'm going to make this be 30 minutes long. And an hour and 11 seconds later, we hit an hour and 11 seconds right now. But yeah, just do your stuff, guys. Be you. Do what makes you happy as long as it's legal and it's not hurting others. Follow your dreams, follow your passions, be passionate about stuff. Don't be ashamed of your passions. Again, unless they're like against the law and hurting people, because you never want to do that. Just be cool, be awesome, be kind, be humble, be loving, be generous. Maybe not too generous. Don't let people push you around. I'm not doing a good job about that. I'm not doing well. There's always like a line with everything, I mean, you don't want to give away every single thing you own and screw yourself over. But like I like to make treats for people, and I do it for no reason. I will say I like to take stuff to my friend's daycare kids because she has fed me a lot of times over the years, and I want her to know that I'm grateful because her kids kind of just walk all over her, and I don't feel like they appreciate her like they should. I could be wrong, and I'm not saying all of them. I know not all of them have, but some of them definitely, yeah. um, but yeah, just do stuff, people. Just live. One of my favorite movies for like the very few live action movies that I actually own. Um, I really like the movie Ever After with Drew Barrymore. It's like the Cinderella story, but like not all magical and wah. Um, and I love the ending line or the ending line. It's something like what's important. It's like, and they lived happily ever after, but like it's not important that they lived happily ever after. What's important is that they lived. Something like that. I remember the last couple parts, like it's important. What's important is that they lived. Yeah, do that. Just go out there, do awesome things, love people, let those people who are awesome in your life know that you love them and care about them, and just yeah, be you guys. Don't just don't take anything for granted. Because pretty much honestly, anything you have, you're lucky to have it. Because I mean, anything can be gone like that. People, places, things, and sadly, sometimes it's a lot easier to replace the material stuff than it is the people. So yeah, just go out there, be awesome, be passionate about what you're passionate about, follow your dreams, love people, care about people, help people. That's always a big thing. You want to reach out and affect some lives positively, help people, be an awesome person, hold open doors, be polite. People really like it when you're polite. Don't treat retail workers like they're dirt. Treat them like they're the humans they are. And just yeah, be awesome. Take care, and as always, peace. Oh, and again, thank you for the people who keep up with the stuff, the people who have been following me on Twitter. Because seriously, like, I only know one person on my Twitter, like personally and like physical form, have met them before, And the factor that I've gained like as many people as I have this past week has for followers has been really cool because like again, I don't think anything I do is really all that great. I don't think really anything I post is all that great. I don't get why people like seeing this talk so much. Because again, my videos where you guys see my face have been more popular than my other videos. It's one reason why I've been doing these. And I don't get why they're more popular. I'm not that great to look at, guys. Why do you want to look at me? My voice, you hear my voice in the other videos, so I don't know. But yeah, just thank you to everybody who've done that stuff because it's helped me get through. It's helped me feel better. It's made me feel loved because people like me for some reason. So anyway, so yeah, guys, thanks for watching this. Take care, and as always, peace. Sayana's out. End stream. Boop.